about the book, and the reason I wanted to make it into a movie was that half of it was about the normal drug addiction that you see in many movies, or the heroin addiction, but the other half was an addiction you never saw before, a woman who was addicted to dreams. So the counterpoint of those two types of addiction was really, really interesting and fascinating. And the fact that the human psychology was the same. If you're addicted to a drug, or you're addicted to, losing weight, or you're addicted to candy, or you're addicted to cigarettes, there's a similar conversation that goes on in your head. Even someone who's on a diet, it's very similar to someone who's just trying to quit a heavy drug. And I thought that was a really interesting observation that Hubert Selby made, and that was a big motivation to bringing that to the big screen.
Do you think there's a solution for addiction?
No, I think it's something we always deal with. I think the only solution is to not be so hard on yourself and accept that it's normal. Everyone, that conversation is what most people on the planet go through. The character, your protagonist that you're going to follow, and they go through very, very predictable movements as the story progresses, and you can see that through all movies and all storytelling. And when I was working on Requiem for a Dream, I couldn't figure out who the hero of the story was, because every time I tried to figure out who it was, something good was supposed to happen to a character and something bad happened. And eventually I realized that the actual hero of Requiem for a Dream was addiction. And every time something bad happened to one of the characters, addiction, something good happened for addiction. So I actually flipped over, because I often graph it out to see the hero's journey, like to watch a graph. And if I turned it upside down, I could actually see that hero's journey through the movie. But I do find that you got to wake yourself up to write them down, and that sucks, because then you got to go back to sleep again. But that's a really good time to sort of be imaginative, is that kind of dream state right when you're almost awake and right before you go to sleep.
Can I ask you a sign, picture of you?
Last year, and Naruto is looking really good this year. I mean, the filmmaking in Mexico is incredible right now. And I get a lot of inspiration from the filmmakers out of Mexico City and out of the whole country. But the creative process, I don't understand the question. Where does the creative process come from, or?
Yeah, when, something like that, to find inspiration to make it.
I think inspiration always comes from, it's usually an idea. It could be an image, it could be an idea, it could be a story, it could be a character, but it's got to be something that really drives you. It's something that you feel deep in your stomach, and because so many people say no to you when you make a movie, that it has to be something that you're incredibly inspired to do. And that inspiration is always something that is something that I can't let go of. And it's hard to explain why I'm attracted to something. You just sort of know it. You just sort of wander around and you see things and you hold on to them, and the things you keep coming back to are often those things. I mean, many of my projects I've been developing for 10, 15. In the case of Noah, I've been thinking about Noah since I was 13. So there's something that constantly brings you back to that source material, and those are the things that are inspiring. Straight across the bottom of the Yucatan, you notice that straight road that goes to Belize, and I believe it's on top of an old Mayan trading route because on either side of that road are many small Mayan ruins. So we were stopping at all of them because Jimmy O'Leary wanted to see them. And one day we stopped at one of them, and it was just a small Mayan ruin. And there was a guest book, and people hadn't been there for like over a year. It was the last time someone had signed the guest book. And it was just 4 small structures with a plaza in the middle. And he was telling us how that's where the Maya would have their markets, was in the middle of the plaza there. And the sun was going down. And I started to notice that in the middle of this plaza were these huge anthills with all these ants pouring into the jungle and bringing back supplies and going into the jungle. And it was really interesting that